I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday edition of the SmackDown Raw podcast. It is Smackin It Down. I'm your host this evening, SCS Vince, and as you can see, I'm a little razzled. I'm a little frazzled. I felt like Will Smith at the end of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because as you can see, my co-host normally, Katie Kinsey Bebe and the Warden Matt Ritter, are off tonight. Katie used one of her PTO days for this Friday night. Who knows what she's got planned? And Matt's still being a dad, so he's got commitments. So shout out to baby Olivia over there in the Ritter household. But I didn't want to do a solo Katie or a solo Stefano, so I brought myself some co-hosts. I got the Will Gray, marked by trait, and a chef by trade and a mark by choice from Rivet City Radio and Botch Spots and Chair Shots. I just botched that intro. Will, how's it going, man? Welcome.
I'm just really glad to be here. I'm cashing those honorary ooze of Creation World checks this week. This is 2 shows. It's very 2023 of me to do multiple Creation World shows in 1 week.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking, and back to back too, Thursday and then Friday.
In a row.
And as you can see, Three's a company because we brought ourselves a little royalty from Nuckiview Buckingham Palace. We got ourselves King Rick, House of Havoc, first of his name. How's it going, Rick?
What's up, y'all? I seen the back door was open, so I just kind of like slid in, you know.
Yeah, we left the doors unlocked. You know, it's kind of like full house over here. Everybody's just welcome to come in and out whenever they want to, especially when it's just me in here. I don't like the doors. You know, that might lead to uncomfortable situations, but you know what? It be what it be. Usually friendly people showing up. You know, for anybody that's showing up, I want to remind everyone that we are currently live on twitch.tv/Creation World, where if you're over there, you should go ahead and subscribe to us. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Prime Gaming, and you can go ahead and use that Prime Gaming subscription from your Amazon Prime and give it to us. You get a free sub every single month. You have to auto-renew it, manually renew it every single month, but it's worth it. So either give it to us, give it to Will over at Rivet City, give it to Katie over at Shelly Showcase, but give it to one of us, give it to one of your favorite creators. We are also live on youtube.com/Creation World, where it is free to like, comment, and subscribe over there. Flick the bean so you know when we go live with a brand new episode, whether that's Monday Night Raw with Raw Flicks, whether that's Tuesday with NXXT, or tonight, Friday, with Smackin It Down. Will, what does that do if they go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, flick the bean, do all that stuff?
It boosts the algorithm and it helps find new listeners.
Yes, and why is that important?
Because you and Mateo are both whores.
Technically, just
likes, likes, comments, and subscriptions, not for anything else, because you're both happily married men.
Fair enough. Yes, Matt is whore, but you know what? Yeah, I'll double dip in that whore category for tonight, because you know I jump around in almost every single podcast as well. So you know, yeah, we're a whore for your likes, your attention, your adoration, likes, comments, subscribe. So join us here.
I'm clipping that.
You should, but. My follow-up, so that means one night only we bringing back Gangbang all day?
Ooh. Gangbang all day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Unleash your inner whore is what the slogan was back in my SmackDown days. Oh, man. With that being said, Katie's not here, but we should still do news and rumors. I have one thing. Katie's not here because she's filing and like trying to get her resume up in order and updated because WWE on LinkedIn is looking for a writer / producer for their programming. So obviously Katie took her PTO day to go ahead and work on that resume, make sure it's nice and ready to go so she can submit it. But yeah, WWE looking for a brand new writer / producer. That's the one little bit of information I have. Aside from that, I hear the Slammies are going to be back WrestleMania weekend over at WWE World, hosted by Kathy Kelly and Big E on the Sunday morning of WrestleMania. They have a total of 12 different categories. You can vote now, right on WWE.com. So for sure, if you guys want to have your voices heard, vote for your favorite feuds, rivalries, entrance, male superstar, tag team, faction, what have you. OMG moment. They have a bunch of different categories. Check it out for sure. Guys, Will, you said you had one. Reek, you said you had something as well. Like, what do we got?
Mine's I can segue off of what you're talking about. Also, I think it came out yesterday afternoon or Wednesday rather, but GCW and WWE are partnering up to open the Collective, which is a multi-day celebration of independent wrestling. Will be the WWE ID program. Will be doing the opening rounds of the WWE ID Championship.
Right.
So if you really think about what that means for independent wrestling, that means we're 5 years removed from the Collective opening up or whatever. It's been 9 years now. Crazy to think about. But when it first came out, it was like the anti-hero to WrestleMania weekend to celebrate the independent wrestlers, to give them the spotlight. And now we've come full circle to 2025 with WWE's programming opening up that weekend of independent wrestling. For me personally, I think it's kind of cool. But you know, WWE is definitely doing a lot, you know, that we would have never seen them do in the previous regime.
100% for sure. I like that. That's good news to hear, especially WrestleMania weekend. That's probably the best weekend to go ahead and do some fun stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Reed?
I said they're open for business, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this past Thursday, Homicide officially wrapped up his 32-year career wrestling in a match alongside Bull James. They went against Mike Santana Alpha Jr. got the win over there. He came out and he said on Facebook that the doctors found a cyst on his brain. So yeah, he had some little issues with his vision and things like that and his speech. So we saw the doctor, got the news. So it's like, yeah, it's time to wrap it up. So had a nice little moment there with him and Santana before going out.
Yeah.
You know, they go way back. So but shout out to him though. It's been a ride for him. So
yeah, shout out for him for sure. We got to see him here locally in Chicago with Freelance Wrestling for it. So it was good to see him back. Shout out to him. Shout out to the OG LAX. Loved him back in the day. So yeah, as long as he's healthy, that's the main thing. Health's number one. That's the main priority for sure. Other than that, I think we're good, right?
Yeah, I got
okay.
Gotta save some stuff for my show, you know.
Yeah, save some stuff there. It's okay. We got enough stuff in there just to like get the quota for this for the news and rumors.
We're checking the boxes.
We're checking the boxes. There you go. Yeah, we gotta. It's kind of like a grocery list. You kind of have to like check one thing after another. Spit or swallow, guys. The meat and potato of the show. We're gonna kick things off with the opening segments. We're live from Bologna, Italia. Bologna, Italia. There you go. Randy opens the show, but Randy couldn't even get a word out before Owens came out and interrupted him. KO doesn't even want to let Randy get a word in because he wants to apologize, and he admits he was wrong for his actions. Said he shouldn't have dropped him on his head. Said Cody and Sammy deserved everything they got, but Randy didn't deserve any of that. And that he admits that he got his anger got the better of him and took it out on him because he sided with Cody, and says, "Hey, Randy, if anybody understands someone getting hot-headed, hearing voices in their head and what have you, it's you, man. You understand what it's been like. So I don't want that. You know, I don't want to fight you. Matter of fact, right before we got into it, we were getting ready to challenge for the tag titles. We almost won the tag titles. WrestleMania is around the corner. You and I should challenge for the WWE tag team titles at WrestleMania. We should make that happen. Randy Orton is like, you can go ahead and shove it, bro. Fuck that. He wasn't hearing it. He didn't want it. And long and behold, later on in the show, it got confirmed. We are going to get a WrestleMania match between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, like everybody thought we were going to get. Overall, the opening segment, the announcement of the official WrestleMania match, spit or swallow, guys. How are we feeling? Who wants to go first?
I'll get at a swallow.
Okay.
The gaslighting is crazy though. Like habitual line stepper number 1 out here trying to make it seem like he was the victim. But nah, I like when we start tapping into that like old school, like wild ass Randy that just wants to start kicking heads off. I'm here for that. I'm here for all of that. Him and Kev it was definitely gonna slap regardless.
Yeah. Speaking of Katie, she says Randall's gonna punt that man into the next WrestleMania. Probably.
Yes, somebody's gonna catch Kevin's head, and I hope I got my mitts ready.
Man, someone's got to catch it. Will, what about you? Spit or swallow?
Swallow all the time, forever. Anything Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Kevin Owens, the gimmick he's got going where he's wearing the shirts of his opponent. Like he wore the Naomi shirt the other night against Jimmy Uso, like a few weeks ago, months ago, whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
Tonight he was wearing an RKO shirt when he came out. Like everything about what KO is doing is awesome. Randy Orton is Orton. With him being bald and beefcake again, it reminds me of like fucking Death Caillou from 2009. Like it's awesome.
Death Caillou.
They're always gold. He dropped a bar with his music lyrics about hearing voices and stuff. I thought that was dope. So yeah, swallow everything about this segment.
I'm with you guys. This was a great way to start off SmackDown, and it set up a match. Like we're like 4 weeks out of WrestleMania, and we're starting to get all the pieces into place. We're trying to see the full vision of what Trips got for us on April 19th and 20th. Moving on, the first match on the show was Ashley, Damian Priest, and said Jimmy Uso taking on Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke Nakamura. How rude! Jimmy didn't get an entrance. He got a jobber entrance. Like Damian Priest came out, they cut the commercial, they came back, and Shinsuke was making this entrance, and Jimmy was already in the ring. So that's number one. It is on site with Priest and Drew McIntyre because the minute Drew started making this entrance, he didn't even get halfway through the ramp before Damian Priest came out and attacked them. They started brawling back and forth. Shinsuke got in there. Jimmy trying to show up his brother and let him know that, hey, this is how you do a dive without looking like top dollar, like diving over the top rope. Hit it correctly. I thought it was funny that he did that. Solid match. It was a standard tag team match. Nothing really stood out for me personally. Priest did get the win, pinning Shinsuke Nakamura from a what does he call it? His choke slam.
South of Heaven.
South of Heaven.
South of Heaven.
Yeah. So, and then after the match, Drew attacks Damian Priest, attacks him. Damian Priest tries to get a little bit of an offense, but isn't able to. Then Drew hits him with the Claymore. If I'm not mistaken, did the attack start with the first initial Claymore and ended it with a final Claymore, or was it just the one?
No, he hit two to beginning and the end, and he attempted multiple throughout the match. Like he was going for his head. Every chance he got, he was sniping that dude's head.
Yes. And Damian Priest looked fucked. He looked worse than CM Punk after he lost to Mickey Gall. Like it was bad. It was bad. Matt's not gonna appreciate that comment. Matt's not gonna appreciate that comment. But it's okay. It's okay. We got more Drew stuff. He got an interview with Kathy Kelly again, asking about the stuff with Damian Priest. It's like, look, man, I'm just gonna take him out. You know, like between here, like be here now in WrestleMania. You're the reason why I don't have a world title match or am champion going into WrestleMania. You've cost me too many times. I'm gonna make sure you don't capitalize on anything. Every time you get up, I'm gonna put you down. And as he's leaving the arena, he passes by one Seth Rollins, and they share a bit of a gaze and almost kind of like a chuckle towards the end when Drew looks at him fondly from behind as Seth's leaving. So I thought they teased something there. But tag team match between Priest, Jimmy, Drew Mac, Shin, all the extra Drew stuff, spit or swallow. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll give it to Swallow. The thing with Jimmy is like they want to give him some of the same shine without doing the work. Like I equate it to Jay is Marvel, Jimmy is DC. Like we put foundational work in for Jay to get where he's at, and they try to, even with the U.S. title thing, like they just
right.
They're trying to push that type of energy without laying the type of foundation that Jay had. Like you need Jimmy to have moments before we start getting up to where we want to get with him.
Yeah.
So that's why like it wasn't surprising me like him not getting the entrance and stuff like that. Like there's still work that's got to get done. So I don't know if we just gonna jump him into it. I've been telling people that Drew and Priest is probably gonna slap. Like it's probably gonna be like an underrated banger at Mania for real.
I'm sure TC's Rice Bowl is gonna slap too. But
I'm gonna find that spot because
yeah,
that sounds crazy.
But overall, I think the meat and potato here is essentially the Drew and Priest stuff. It's getting, I think personally, it's getting really good. Will, what do you think before I give my 2 cents? You're muted, bro.
First day on the job, I'm rusty.
Okay.
I gargled this segment like it was tough. Here's why. Okay. All 4 of these men, all 4 of them deserve a better story and build than a thrown together tag team match with hardly any chemistry, like of one-off tag teams. I wrote down in my notes, it's like tag team hell. Let's get everybody on the card so they can get a TV paycheck. Like these are the notes I wrote for this match because at the end of the day, we're pushing the Damian Drew story. Mm-hmm. Jimmy being involved last Friday to save the day was literally there to save the day. I'm not 100% sure what Shin had. It was just a whole lot of moving pieces to give us the Damian Drew WrestleMania match, which I applauded. I thought it was a great story starting last year with the cash in and building all the way to this year. Like that's a good story without them being the focal point of each other. You know what I mean? Yes. Drew was doing his shit. Damian was doing his shit. But all throughout the year, their paths crossed, and now we're here. All of the men deserve something better than this, especially on an international showcase. Like, this just felt like a thrown-together tag team match because they needed TV checks.
Yeah. Agreed. It does seem like more of a house show match that you see when they come and visit your local, like, minor city or town. So there's definitely that. The whole Jimmy aspect of thing, he was just kind of Shinsuke and Jimmy just kind of served the purpose of having Drew and Damian Priest interact in the match without actually having the singles match prior to WrestleMania. I will say the Drew and Priest build is very good, and I argue this is what Gunther and Jey Uso should be looking like, and it's not. So I will commend them for that. I think it looks more like a blood feud than what everything that Drew is doing to Priest is what Gunther should be doing to Jay. That's what it just feels like to me. But moving on. Speaking of another title program that needs a little heating up, Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair had a split screen interview. It was a very something interview from both of them. Charlotte was very dismissive of Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany just was saying that Charlotte throws cold water on anything that's hot because she's trying to cool down people so that no one supersedes her, saying stuff like, oh, you're trying to catch up with the new generation. And Charlotte saying stuff like, hey, just because you're blonde and you can do a flip doesn't mean that you're Charlotte Flair. You know, I felt sorry for you, so I'm doing you a favor by shining the spotlight on you and doing your career a favor by giving you this match. It was whatever. It was there. I'm gonna gargle it because it wasn't terrible. It wasn't the worst thing I saw on SmackDown, but it wasn't anything good. I could have done without it. Shout out to Just. He said Aos homies. And then Katie says, glad I didn't watch because I don't want to see or hear Plank.
You guys are fucking mean. I'm spitting because this is concerning to me, and this was my
Okay.
worry when they started shifting Tiff's character. I I just said as soon as it was over, I don't believe you at all. Like the armor of a babyface is believability, and
Yeah.
none of that came through in here. Like this is a perfect analogy with y'all. You remember when Frieza went final form and Vegeta tried to fight him because he thought he had the juice like that, and Frieza was literally bitch slapping him for like 3 episodes before Goku showed up. Like that,
Damn.
because that's how it looked. Like Charlotte wasn't even trying, and she was just laying them shots right at her. It's like,
Yeah.
Tiff, fight back! Like this is not okay right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tiff looked great last week in the in the brawls that they had, and
Yeah,
here's the thing: we have a Charlotte fan on the episode. Will, how do you feel about this build and about this segment? I'm more curious what you have to say.
Watching the show with the homies in the session, I said out loud, this will be a fun segment to talk about because I know Vince doesn't give a shit about Charlotte Flair. And I am a homer.
Yeah.
So much so that I don't talk about her a bunch because I don't find it right to have a bias. You know what I mean? The people I'm huge fans of, I don't typically critique because I'm only going to say really great shit about them. However, tonight, I can't do that. I gargle this segment for the exact same reason as the tag team above it in my notes. Both of these women together are stars. Charlotte, in my opinion, may be in the top 2 or 3 greatest female performers of all time. She's dancing in that top 50, top 30 greatest wrestlers of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like she's getting good. And she's coming back from injury. She's showing that she can do it. But I'm also a huge bias.
Yes.
Same, I was just talking about Seth Rollins. I compared Seth Rollins to Babe Ruth. That being said, both women, I have a whole ass article I'll send you. Seth Rollins is the Babe Ruth.
I will read that while I'm on the
Major
toilet.
League Baseball, Seth Rollins is the pro wrestling. I have an article for you. Anyways, back to this. I digress. Swallow Charlotte, swallow Tiffany, both separately. Tiffany essentially said anybody who wants a shot at her title, they run on Tiffy time. Straight fucking bar. Just because you're a blonde girl who can do a moonsault, you think you're Charlotte Flair? Straight fucking bar. So how somehow I swallow both of their individual promos, but gargle this build as a whole. My notes also say this is somewhere between White Chicks and Mean Girls. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing them side by side on the screen, like
yeah.
Wow. That's a comment. You know what? Let's move on. Fair point.
But what do you say after that?
You don't, except big meaty men are about to slap some meat. We had a good old fashioned Haas fight running it back between Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, and we learned that prior to this match, that from a backstage interaction with Braun Strowman and LA Knight, Braun found out from help me out here. I need Nick Aldis. Thank you. Nick Aldis said that whoever wins the match between Jacob and Braun is going to be the #1 contender for the U.S. Championship for that in the London show next week. So, Haas fight, solid. The crowd was hot for Braun Strowman, which surprised me. Okay, cool. But they were also hot for Jacob Fatu. I didn't see it on the U.S. Television airing, but when I watched it earlier on the Netflix VPN version, they did the kind of like an Ole Fatu chant for him during the commercial break. So that was really cool to see. Solo and Tama Tonga run in to help because it kind of looks like Braun Strowman is taking advantage towards the end, causing a DQ after Solo sticks his thumb in Braun Strowman's throats. Braun Strowman gets the win via disqualification, taking on LA Knight. Between the 3 of them, attack Braun Strowman. LA Knight makes the save. It just takes 2 of them to even out the odds. Jacob is not happy with Solo Sikoa. He's fucking pissed. When we go backstage, he's fuming. He's throwing stuff. He's throwing garbage. I saw a pizza box flying out of a dumpster. And Solo's like, hey, man, I was just trying to help. It's like trying to help who? You? Trying to help you? Like, that ain't your business. This is my business. Stay out of my business, essentially, is what he was saying. Stay out of my business, oos. Jacob isn't happy right now, guys. But overall, the Haas match, big meaty men, they slapped their meats. Braun Strowman versus LA Knight next week. Jacob being pissed at Solo. That tension continuing week to week. Spit or swallow?
I'll swallow. Always love a good Haas fight. And I can appreciate the fact that there's no definitive winners because you're like protecting both of them. Because if Braun is getting good reactions and you can find some space for him in the mid card, then that's fine. And
Yeah.
Jacob has the unlimited trajectory, so we ain't even worried about that. But another takeaway: Solo continues to show why he could have never been the legit tribal chief. How are you going to look at Jacob and say he needs help? Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, I don't care if it's Braun, whoever it is. How are you looking at this man and saying, you know what, we should go help him out. We should go jump Braun for him. Like, that's just bad judgment. I'm sorry.
Also, what does that say about Tamatanga that he just kind of like, yeah, let's do that. Like I could just imagine how the conversation went. Like, Tamatanga, like, if anybody's closer to Jacob, it's probably you because of those weeks and months you spent after Solo lost to Roman post Raw after Netflix. So you should know that Jacob doesn't need no help. Why are you out here listening to Solo? He left your ass.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Will?
Bad luck.
Thoughts?
This is part of where SmackDown lost me. I love Jacob Fatu. Fucking strap a rocket to that man's back. Give him every title. Make him look like fucking Ultimo Dragon. Just hold the belts on it. Give him the North American title. I don't give a shit. Put all the belts on Jacob Fatu. I will never, and I say this with a capital N, never give a fuck about Braun Strowman. He is like fetch. Stop making Strowman happen because stop trying to make Strowman happen. It's not going to happen. That's two Mean Girl references in this episode. I spit this because Fatu needs to be in something more important than a storyline against Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Ending in a DQ finish is lazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't help either men look good. You know what I mean? Making Jacob look like Braun Strowman pushes him to the limit. But watching who else has mowed through Braun Strowman in the past makes me go, okay, so Jacob's not undefeatable. Because I've seen all kinds of motherfuckers beat Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, plausible deniability here. Maybe I'm too smart for my own good, but I spit it overall. DQ, lazy finish. Like, this is where this was a no-go for me. That's a no for me, dog.
I feel that. I'm gonna split the match between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu just because of Braun Strowman himself. It could have been another like big meaty man, and I would have fucking loved the match. The DQ finish, I mean, it makes sense, like in the sense that like you don't want Jacob to take a pin or a submission, take a clean loss, and it does help further fuel the story of him and Solo slowly coming to a split. And he's going to destroy the fuck out of Solo when he's finally sick and tired. When that final straw breaks, that's going to be crazy. Shout out to TCF Baby. Please say the baby in the chat saying, imagine not having Mania tickets after that closing segment. Listen, sir, some of us don't got the funds nor the means to get there. Be mindful of poor people out here.
Listen,
we're not all blessed. Man. We're not all blessed.
I had to make some decisions.
I know. I had to make executive decisions too, and they weren't in my benefit. Speaking of someone that had to make some decisions, someone needs to make some decisions on what they were doing with Zelina Vega because they changed her theme song, and this was her first match since being transferred over through the window to SmackDown, and she lost it to Piper Niven. Piper dominated the majority of the match. Zelina got hot towards the end, looked like she was going to get some offense in, but the green regime was able to get the numbers game to go in Piper's favor, hits her with like a running power slam crossbody thingy, gets the win. Spare to swallow. You can gargle too.
I guess I'll probably gargle it. Like I'm not of the mindset that Zelina was gonna go over on Piper.
No.
I
mean, she's gonna challenge for that US title. She has to, right?
Yeah, I'm also confused because it felt like Zelina just popped up out of nowhere to start making the challenge. And it's fine, it's a mid card, but
yeah,
it's like we kind of just did it without much direction.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, so she lost, so now what?
Yeah.
Like what did we really do this for?
I don't know. She's probably gonna get some help like in the next coming weeks, and that's how she gets the numbers games to be evened out. Will?
I love Piper. I love Zelina. I will forever swallow Piper. I hope the inevitable turn. I hope Chelsea does this reign until Piper turns on Chelsea and Chelsea drops this belt to Piper. That's what I want to happen. I will ride this Chelsea Green secret Hervis. I will ride this wave as long as at the culmination of the story we get Piper Niven taking the U.S. title off of Chelsea Green. So I will swallow it. And I love Zelina Vega. She is a career worker. She spent her she's always there, always doing great things. Like it's hard not to like Zelina Vega.
Fair point. Let's move on quickly here. I lumped them both together because they were very quick. We did get 2 vignettes, the similar ones from last week. We got another smoky number 4 vignettes again, assuming that's Aleister Black. That 4 seemed to be like glowing twice, so maybe it's saying 4-4. So Matt's like little Austin theory of maybe the return being on April 4, 2025, which just so happens to be the Chicago show, which he will be attending with Zoe. Maybe that's what it's alluding to. Who knows? Okay. But then we also got another one, and this was clear as day, was Ray Phoenix. Yeah, they zoomed in on the tattoos. They looked at the silhouette of the mask, and then he even did the animo pose that he does with his brother all the time. That's fucking Phoenix. And then according to Fightful Espanol, he signed with WWE. So I might not trust the original Fightful, but the Latino version, the Espanol version, I might trust a little bit more. Spit or swallow on the 2 vignettes.
Swallow.
Okay.
I'm guessing Aleister Black. I've said that. It just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
As well, have him back in here. You got plenty that you could do with him, but I mean, listen, it's the worst kept secret in the world. So I mean, we didn't need to keep on trying to add any type of suspension of disbelief here. Like we knew already.
For sure. What about you, Will?
Spit it 10,000%. I'm really excited. No, not spit it. Sorry, swallow.
I was about to say, I was like, whoa.
No, swallowing 10,000%. Aleister Black coming back will be fantastic. Ray Phoenix coming. And them starting the way it looks initially on separate brands to establish themselves as independent stars and then coming together is going to be a fantastic story. Yeah. So I will forever be a fan. I'm a big Lucha Libre guy in my heart of hearts. I love AAA. So I'm here for it. Lucha.
See. Listen, I've said it before. If Lucha Underground makes its way to Netflix, I'm starting the Lucha Underground podcast. I'm starting the Lucha Underground podcast. I'm letting y'all know right now.
Just episode for episode.
Yeah. Next up, we have Liv Morgan taking on Jade Cargill. Bologna shows love for Liv. Did you guys see the Mona Lisa or Lisa Lisa portrait, like the little Photoshop or whatever of Liv Morgan on the Mona Lisa? Apparently she's Italian, so shout out to her. She's back in the motherland, and she got the love and the support and the adoration from the crowd fully. Might have been one of Jade's best singles matches, if not one of her best matches in WWE, period. Maybe one of her best singles matches, period, too. Liv Morgan has improved tremendously, and so has Jade Cargill. Like, I know you don't want to give props, but shout out to Natty, shout out to TJ, shout out to the Performance Center, shout out to everybody there. We stress this all the time. There's a reason why you need a Performance Center. It's nothing but a positive, you know? Liv, whatchamacallit? Jade took advantage at the starts. And it wasn't until Liv tried to leave with Raquel and then got dragged back into the ring that things started shifting in Liv's favor. So, like I said, Jade started dominating to initiate the match. Raquel doing Raquel things, distracting. Liv takes control, and again, Jade swings things back in her favor, and it looks like she's got things going for her. And then one Miss Trinity Naomi Fatu decided to show up with a little caution warning. A little cautious glow for y'all. Kind of looked like Owen Hart when he was part of Nation Domination with all the yellow.
I was about to say it was Blackheart Owen Hart with caution tape. Yeah,
Blackheart Owen Hart showed. Naomi showed up and caused the distraction with another distraction from Raquel. Title shot to the face of Jade Cargill. Oblivion. Fantastic match. Fantastic finish. And then the finish to the finish was even great because heel Naomi was serving. She was feeding people tonight. She went to work on Jade. She's out here talking shit, saying, you thought this was done? You thought it was done? You thought this was over? Then just like mocking her, doing the pose and everything. Hit like that one move that she does on the ropes or whatever, kind of like the one that MJF does. I have no idea what it's called. But she looked great. She looked fantastic. She served the looks. She posted on her IG. I'm going to jump here real quick and just say I'm swallowing everything in this little circle of match women. They killed it. Best match of the night.
Yeah, that's what I got. Easy swallow. I've been saying Naomi will thrive as a heel, and this was every indication of that. Jade, I have a trajectory for Jade within the next 7 to 8 months, and I'll delve into that a little bit on Sunday when we record. But that's funny. But yeah, this was a great start. You know what I'm saying? Like Liv is, she's been low key MVP of the last 12 months. So her and Jade, I expected it was going to kill. But her and Naomi at Mania, that's going to do some numbers, and I'm here for that.
It better happen at Mania. If they doing all this and we don't get the match at Mania, they do it like on the SmackDown before Mania. Someone's gonna catch some hands. We're gonna have some problems.
They gotta
do it. Bakley over here in the chat also saying that he likes the Naomi inspired Owen Hart caution tape look. Yeah. Says it's the Heat Seeker or something like that. The MJF move, alluding to the move on the apron. TC said Piper Niven is gonna be Lyndon B. Johnson. Question mark. Who knows? Maybe. Well, women's wrestling. Liv, Jade, Naomi. Thoughts, spits, swallows.
There's a couple reasons why I'm going to swallow this overall, and none of them are Liv Morgan and Raquel. So I'll start there. The way it was booked, having Liv and Raquel cut a promo, then cut to something else, then Jade cut her promo, then go to the match. That's very old school Memphis wrestling of Triple H to book the show like that. I was super into that. So that was a redeeming factor. I literally wrote my notes. Wait, I'm doom scrolling and realized Liv and Raquel are on my screen. I still don't care about Liv Morgan. Sorry. So then I was like, shit. Okay. Then it goes to Jade, and it's like, Jade's new hair is fucking fire. The mullet is fire. I will swallow whatever Jade Cargill tells me to. And then the match happens. I still don't care about Liv and Raquel, but Jade helps make Liv look like $1 million. Then Naomi coming in and Hill Naomi made me swallow the rest of it. So I was like, even me being indifferent about Liv and Raquel, there was so much other good shit happening that it's hard not to swallow. And they did such a good job of spacing the women's segments out throughout the show, including the Piper and Zelina match in the middle, that they had such a long stretch of the show that was women-centric. And I was like, that was really well done to do that gap, to give them essentially 3 segments back to back to back, using the promos into both the women's matches to highlight it. So I was like, well played, Mr. Levesque.
2 points before we move on to the next subject. Number 1, sorry, Matt, I wasn't able to get the show under 40 minutes. It'll be 50 maybe, because we still got 2 more things to talk about. And number 2, notice how there was no Bianca anywhere to be found. She was there at Raw. She wasn't there on SmackDown.
Listen, I'm going to reveal it all on Sunday. I have the
tune into Young Kings Wrestling. Cheap plug. Moving on. Bianca wasn't there, but her boot thing. Montez Ford and his tag team partner Angelo Dawkins. The Street Profits are up. They were on the mic, had a very heartfelt promo. 4 long plus years since they last held the championship. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was either January or February of 2021, which is crazy. They get interrupted by Legado del Fantasma, and then we get a little bit whatchamacallit.
Yes, boy! Yes, boy!
Yes, boy. The Pretty Deadly show up. So essentially, Legado saying, like, hey, we want next. Like, we still feel disrespected that you didn't apologize to us. Pretty Deadly come out and say, hey, step aside. We got next, essentially. And it's Santos Escobar. It's like, nah. I don't give a fuck. Get out of the way. Do not get involved. This is personal between us. And it ended up into a match between Street Profits and Los Garzas, which was a fantastic match, by the way. Wow. Fantastic match. Fantastic finish. The 2 big spots that stood out to me was the Garza special, the Gory special into the cutter that they did towards the tail end. They almost got them the victory. And then also the Montez Ford meme when he was at the top rope with both Garzas, looked like they were going to toss him off the top rope, and he landed on his feet. And then he did the whole like Ricochet Will Ospreay thing where they look behind or whatever. And then, the faces on the Garzas. It was great. Fantastic finish with from the heavens, frog splash, Angelo Dawkins doing that dive again, showing Jey Uso how to properly do it. And this also culminated in Pretty Deadly having the backstage segment with DIY after the match, letting us know that next week in the motherland in London, they will be challenging for the tag team titles, the Street Profits. DIY wants them to scratch each other's backs, essentially. They want to do some back scratching. Hey, we help you win. You make sure that we're next in line. Machine Chemical Bromance was also there. They saying, hey, welcome to the back of the line. How's it going? We're here. Tag team wrestling, Street Profits, Garzas, Pretty Deadly, what have you, spits and or swallows.
I'll swallow, but I have 2 quick gripes. One, I have a problem with the fact that Legado, but specifically Santos, has gotten regulated to this, like, I'm a manager of this tag team that isn't really getting much burn. We went from this was a faction with at its centerpiece somebody who had some solid potential mid card and potentially beyond, and it's like we kind of fizzled that out a lot. I don't like that. Second thing, this was a gripe for me on Young Kings. I talked about it already. We don't need to keep parading every single tag team in the picture just because the titles are there. We can get back to having rivalries in tag teams and focus that for the championships. Like, I feel like we do this every year around Mania. We just parade a bunch of tag teams around the championships. Go back to basics. Have 2 teams feud for championships and roll with that into Mania. Like, I hate all this, wide field for everything. Like, just roll with some shit.
Yeah. Will?
I will forever swallow tag team champion Street Profits, and I will swallow this bomb-ass tag team division on SmackDown with the Motor City Machine Guns, with the Street Profits, with DIY, with Pretty Deadly, with the Garzas. Like SmackDown is a stacked ass roster, and they're doing a good job promoting tag team wrestling. Even if their tag titles look like big booty cheeks.
I kind of like them. I like them. I like them more than the pepperoni pizza titles on Raw.
The pepperoni pizza titles are like awful, but these, Al made that analogy on our show when we ranked them. She said, her and Katie both said that the tag team titles look like booty cheeks.
No, poopy diapers.
Or a poopy diaper, yeah.
Oh my god. All right. Well, I'm just swallowing it just because I like that Pretty Deadly are going to get a title match in their home country. So that's good for them. But also swallowing it because, like I said, we got the two really cool spots, but mostly just because Angel Garza took off his pants. So that just gets a swallow for me, hands down. Easy. Automatic swallow. Speaking of taking off my pants, I kind of wanted to when we got to the closing segment of the show, because we had our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, coming out. He had to air some grievances, but he also came out in some very clean Jordan 5 black metallic reimagined, if I'm not mistaken. They look clean. They look nice. Yeah. Roman says that Punk tried to screw him at the Royal Rumble a month ago, so he went ahead and tried to screw him back. So they screwed each other. Then he also says that Seth tried to kill him at the Royal Rumble, so that he returned the favor and tried to kill him. Then he says, hey, I got about like 15, 20 minutes left on my shift. If anybody wants to come here and confront me, go ahead and do so. Seth takes him up on his offer and is kind of mad at him, saying, hey, man, you should just let me finish off CM Punk. But you know what? I understand. We have our history. We can't coexist on the same brand at the same time in the same space. So I understand. We have a lot of history together. I think it's time we write another chapter in that book. Out comes CM Punk. All three of them are in the ring now. CM Punk comes out and basically says to Roman, it's like, bro, I know you haven't been in a Rumble in a minute, but that's kind of how a Rumble goes. There's no me screwing you. It's everybody against everybody to eliminate them over the top rope. So I didn't screw you. I would have thought that your wise man would have filled you in, include you in on those details, but I guess not. And then he says, number 2, what was it that he said? He said that neither one of you two, Roman and Seth, that is, have beaten CM Punk without the assistance of the other. And that what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So that was the crux. He was saying it's like, hey, neither you two have beaten me without the other two's help, without interfering in the match. And then he thanks Paul Heyman for serving up his tribal chief to him in a silver platter. Roman looked back at Paul Heyman's like, wait, hold up. You plan to bring me out here? You planned this? Again, kind of like what they did with the Brock and Roman stuff a couple years back. And then next thing you know, Mike to the back of the head of Roman Reigns. Then we just get absolute chaos. They brawl back and forth, fighting, yada, yada, like full mounts, mounting, diving from Seth Rollins. Eventually, they each take their turn. CM Punk gets on the announce table, says, I'm the best in the world. You, me. Points at the WrestleMania sign. Seth Rollins does a tope suicida. Again, that's like 3 dives on one SmackDown. Like the same exact dive too. Then he goes, you, me, WrestleMania. Roman, steel steps, knocks out everybody, stands up on the steel steps like it's the Olympics, like he's got the first place gold medal. The WrestleMania sign. So it looks like we are gonna get a threesome at WrestleMania. I mean, a 3-way. No, wait. Triple threat at WrestleMania between these 3 men, and that's how we close off the show. It was crazy, chaos, brawling, bitter swallows, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's actually official. I see it right here. So yeah, they stamped it.
Oh, they did. There we go. Breaking news.
But yeah, big swallow. They're selling me on it. I was rebelling against this for the longest time because I felt like we just have individual beats. Why are we mixing it? But deeper than that, I felt like this is just Shield triple threat, and they just sub CM Punk for Moxley. Like that's all I've been saying from the jump, or I've been thinking from the jump.
But true. That's fucked, but
it
true.
is. It is because that's what they wanted to do for the longest time, and it's like looking at where each of them are individually. It couldn't be a better time. But you don't have Mox, you have Punk. So that's what they're doing here, and I said we don't need to do that, but they're getting me because Fredo Heyman strikes again. You know, now he looking suspect. Punk is just listen. I will be hyped for on-site energy at any point in time, and Punk shows up with the on-site energy at a moment's notice. That's just what it is. Like, he didn't need to talk much. He didn't talk much.
No,
just get to scrap it. So like, the elements are here to put on what we need to do. I'm not mad at it at this point. We're gonna roll with it. Punk is gonna get his main event finally. So you got me. I'm with it. Let's go.
There's only one downside to this, but we'll save that for the post show conversations. Will spit or swallow the closing finish to SmackDown?
I will swallow this forever. This you listen back to your description and you'll understand it. I'm sorry, Matt. I will do my best to get this under 60 seconds. Go back, listen to the way you described it, and everything I'm about to say will make sense. This was the most homoerotic, bad breakup of a toxic relationship you'll ever see in your life. Both of these men, and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, were so angry at the other one for what they've done in the past and how manipulated they were, and it sounded like a bad toxic breakup. And then you get one Pepsi Phil involved. I've been a Team Phil person since he got the WWE, so I'm here for it. He gets involved, and everything he do is toxic as fuck. So then it's like, this is like wrestling Brokeback Mountain in the most toxic way possible. And I'm here for it, and I love everything about it. And I will forever swallow this menage a shield.
Menage a shield. Oh my god!
And Seth Rollins looked like the Godfather with those purple ass velvet pants.
Shout out to Seth. Bakery in the chat also mentioned that Punk once again teased the favor from before hitting Roman. So again, they got to pay off that favor at some point. I don't know. Maybe it's a quickie. I have no idea. But this, the win. Yeah, maybe it might be the win. Yeah, look at you, one step ahead. One step ahead. So overall, guys, SmackDown spit and or swallow.
I'll swallow.
Well,
it's more good than that.
Yeah, big swallow. I wasn't sure at first until I went through my notes, and I was like, fuck, apparently I liked the shit out of this SmackDown.
Yeah. I'm also going to swallow it. It was a lot of good shit. The closing segment was great. The opening segment was great. That tag team match between the Garces was great. Rip pants from Angel Garza, so that instant swallow. And then the Liv, Jade, Naomi stuff was fantastic as well. I loved all of it. It was a really good, solid episode. With that being said, we are winding down towards the end, which means it's that time of the episode where everybody does their cheap plugs and lets everybody know where they can follow them and stalk them and follow and do all that good stuff. Check out their content. Rick, we'll start off with you, man. Invite everybody to the Palace. Where can they find you?
Of course. So you can find me at Recavage24 on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can find us, myself and TC, at YK Wrestling. At YKWrestling.com for everything, episodes, content, where you can find us. We're all on Twitter at hashtag YK Wrestling. Check it out for our newest episode. We'll be dropping Monday. We've got a special guest of our own coming through the Palace.
That's what's up.
Yeah, keep it locked for that. We'll be on streaming soon, y'all. I promise.
Bet. Well,
if you check my link tree at first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to be the honorary use of all things Creation World.
We love you.
If you check my link tree in the bio at the Will Gray, you will find all things that I'm invested in: Botch Bots and Share Shop, Private Studio Radio, Off the Top Media, all of my writing profiles. And if you check me out on TikTok, I've got some video game streams coming. Super stoked about streaming some video games. Finally doing it. So check me out. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Will's finally doing it. You should too. Check him out. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince. Check out the show at Smackin' It Down Podcast on everywhere except for Twitter. And go ahead and check out the Smackin' It Down Podcast. We'll be live maybe 30 minutes after Raw goes live next week, Monday. The Warden Matt Ritter will be back. Katie will be back. I'll be there too. So stay tuned for that. For that being said, Pornhub Poppy, Debbie Poppy, Cruz Delgado, Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada, Debo Gray, Reek Havoc. Everybody, love you guys. That was a terrible rolling of the R. Sorry to my entire culture. Later, y'all. See you next week.